Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 8 of our F2 2020 Mick Schumacher career mode, where today we're here back ready for the Hungarian GP weekend. Now obviously this weekend we have finally got the new patch on F1 2020 as well there, which has changed a few things with the Formula 2 cars. Most notably, Artem Markelov isn't as strong as he once was here, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the second half of this World Championship does continue on. But obviously, if you missed out on the videos from last weekend at the British Grand Prix, I would definitely recommend going back and checking them out. Some brilliant action from the Silverstone circuit there, you know, the home of Formula 1 as well. But you can see championship-wise, though, currently we're on top by 16 points ahead of Markelov there, 52 ahead of Guan Yu Zhou's, a further 4 ahead of our teammate Robert Schwartzman as well here. So if Markelov isn't as quick as he once was, maybe, just maybe, things are looking a whole lot better for us in the World Championship, because so far, yeah, Markelov has given us a huge run for our money over the course of this World Championship. But let's wait and see, though. Let's dive in ready for round 8 of the season, the Hungarian Grand Prix. One of my least favourite tracks in Formula 1. I'm not a fan of this circuit, I'll be honest, to drive on, but maybe this weekend things can look good for us. So, with the exception of Monaco then, qualifying around this Hungarian circuit, probably one of the most important on the Formula 1 calendar, so we'll wait and see as to what we can achieve this weekend there. But yeah, like I said, Hungary isn't a particularly great track for me, so, I mean, if we can walk away with this weekend, still holding on to the championship lead, I'll probably be quite happy, but very intrigued to see what Artem Markelov is now going to be able to do in the second half of the World Championship here. But obviously, this track does hold a special place in Mick Schumacher's heart. Obviously, he's taken his very first Formula 2 race victory around here all the way back now in 2019. That sort of line is not going to help us, though, through the first corner, as Giuliano Alesi seems to be the quickest man down the hill here. So one race lap to another now seems to be looking rather strong this weekend. Drogovic, the young Brazilian, now takes over at the front of the field. Yeah, but that mistake through the first couple of corners really has pushed us a long way off, practically a second off Drogovic there, as we're really struggling to get used to the Formula 2 car again. I can't remember the last time I drove around the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit, I'll be honest. I'm meant to be heading there in the Mclaren RTG next time out, so we'll be doing a lot of Hungary over the next few videos. But yeah, just struggling to sort of get into a rhythm, get the car working around this circuit. Just so much understeer. It's such a weird track to drive on, I always find, on the F1 games. I've never sort of learned how to get around this track, you know, how to really sort of maximise the car, as we have actually taken a few tenths out of the top runners in Sector 2 there, a couple of tenths taken out of them, so maybe we might not find ourselves right at the rear of the field as we head in towards the final couple of corners, though. We're hovering around P22, P21, please don't be right at the very back as we head through the final turn. Struggling to quite get on the power as early as Drogovic in front of us. It won't even be the back row, P20 on the grid, and I got no idea why I'm shaking my fist for that, because that was not good at all.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are Drogovic, PK and Callum Ilott. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
Well, I was gonna say, Artem Markelov, it seems like they finally patched him into a somewhat respectable level on this game, but Drogovic, pole position there, Pedro Piqué second, Brazilian front row lockout, I guess somewhat almost potentially possible in the right circumstances, Callum Ilott third, Schwartzman fourth, that seems sensible, Roy Nissany in fifth. What on earth has happened there, Codemasters? Alesi sixth, I suppose that's believable, Guan Yu Zhou seventh, believable, Shungalale in 8th. I don't really know what we're going to say about that. Aitken 9th, Matsushita 10th there ahead of Samaya there. Markelov, like I said, down in 12th place. We find ourselves P20, only quicker than Delatraz and Yuki Tsunoda in last. What on earth has happened there? Some big questions with the new patch for F1 2020, it appears. But still, let's dive in ready for the F2 Hungarian GP feature race.
It's time for this weekend's Formula 2 race here at the Hungaroring. A popular track with a lot of history. I'm sure we're in for an absolute thrill ride of a race today. The Hungaroring is located 12 miles northeast of the capital, Budapest. It's 2.7 miles long, 14 corners, and it's got a reputation for making overtaking difficult. Nevertheless, there's a history of some truly exceptional races here. Let's hope that our Formula 2 drivers can serve up some more of that today. Joining me for all today's excitement, a man who is no stranger to this challenging circuit, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, Hungaroring can be a tricky beast to master. What insight can you give us about today's race?
Ciao Alex. As you say, the circuit can be challenging. There's a lot of slow corner which can make overtaking very frustrating. This will be a good test of this young driver's patience. Waiting for the perfect moment to make an attack will be the key to moving up through the field today.
Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Felipe Dragovic lines up on pole position, and it's Pedro Piquet in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ilott, Schwartzman, Roy Nissany, Ander Lacey, Joe, Galeo, Aitken, Nobuharu Matsushita, Samaya, Markelon, Marino Sato, and Deruvala, Mazepin, Lundgaard, Armstrong, and Luca Giotto, Tictum, and Mick Schumacher, Delatraz, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So here we are then, ready on the grid for the F2 feature race here from the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit. We're going to try the gamble this weekend again. I know a couple of times it's worked out alright, a couple of times not so well this season, but starting so far down the field, we might as well give it a go this weekend there. 19 laps ahead of us, so it is going to be quite a long old race here at the Hungaroring, but hopefully we can keep it clean, keep it tidy, get through the first couple of laps, maybe pick up a couple of places as well, and yeah, really just focus on the long game here. You know, Markelov isn't inside the top 10 either, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can squeeze himself into the point still, and obviously the new patch as well could cause some craziness in this race. So, as always in Formula 2, you can really expect just about anything this weekend there. 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go. And yeah, I think we were all expecting me to go backwards anyway. Starting on the harder compounded tyres was always going to make that even more difficult. So we are down to P22 as we head down in towards the first corner. There's a bit of carbon fibre being kicked up as well. Have a look at the inside of a couple of cars there. Everyone seems to have made it through nice and tidy in the end. Like I said, there was like one front wing end plate being kicked up there. Not too sure who that was. It might be Dan Tictum just in front of us there. No, I think he has still got his whole front wing as we get back up into our starter position. So much concertina up as we head down in towards turn 4 here. Having a look on the outside. Oh, a lot of contact between myself and Tictum there as he tries to slam the door shut on Luca Giotto. We'll keep the nose at the inside there, thank you very much. And we will now finally make some forward progress in this race. Up at a P19, but still everyone's so bunched up. At the start of this race there, as we've got Yuki Tsunoda just completely rammed into the back of me, in through the chicane there, so we're going to have to completely hop over the curbs. Jay Deruvala and Nikita Mazepin going side by side in front of us. Hopefully I can remember how to pronounce Mazepin's name between now and the end of the season. But you can see, or just see, Deruvala and Mazepin holding each other up and everyone else behind him so much there as we head in towards the final sector. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with Dan Tictum, but we do finally make the move work. Surely this has got to sort itself out sooner rather than later there. Mazepin does bail out in the end. That's not quite where we want to be. I'd hope Armstrong would maybe notice us in the end, but apparently not. In towards the final corner. Ooh, way too late on the brakes there. Pedro Piquet leads though. At the end of lap 1, we'll still be going side by side with Marcus Armstrong here. Who said you can't overtake at the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit? 20th to 22nd, all the way up to 18th. By the end of lap 1, it might be 17th. Ooh, as we try to have a look around the outside through the first corner. We've got Dan Tictum still trying to get the move back down on us, but I think we will slot back into P18 for now. Think about it in towards turn 2, but think better of it. Ooh, getting a big run on Armstrong as we head out of turn 3 on lap 3. Oh, he's going to give us a big old squeeze around the outside through turn 4. We use a little bit of extra curb there, but we do get the nose to the inside for turn 5, and that's a bit of an unlikely move. But it is a move we pulled off in this race. I'm in the 17th, now Mazepin, the next car just in front of us. As luckily, it doesn't appear that most cars have sort of broken away early on in this race there, as hopefully we'll start to see the soft tyres just hit the cliff over the next few laps. Mazepin going a bit defensive on us as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of lap 4 here. So yeah, clearly the Russian driver feeling a bit of pressure from ourselves just behind him as we try to have a look around the outside. We might be able to get a bit of a cut back in towards the final couple of corners. No, I think those soft tyres still just giving, you know, that traction on the exits of the corners. So those runners still, as all know, saying that, we do get a good run at the final corner. We're running very, very high wings relative to most of the other cars this weekend, but still all over the back of Mazepin. Down in towards turn 1, a couple of inches later on the brakes. Can we keep the nose there? We're still going to be side by side as we head out of the first couple of corners. He has still got the DRS and the guys in front of him. Up the inside we go. Oh, a very, very aggressive move. He's going to be able to get the switch back on us, but luckily, obviously the corner opens itself up on the exit. We get the move done. A moment of P16. Slow but steady progress early on. Markelov just 2 cars in front of us now. Hopefully we can sneak a top 8, but we'll wait and see. Oh, Jay and Aruvula really, really struggling. Once again through turn 3. I don't know why the AI seem to struggle so much through there, because we certainly aren't. On the other hand, around the outside, again, just using a little bit of extra curb, but nothing too much I think would warrant any issues from the FIA. I'm at a P15. I think we're going to start seeing the AI pit soon, though, in this race. And hopefully, yeah, our medium tyres will hang on in there. As soon as I say that, we are going to see the first load of AI into the pit lane there, as Markelov just in front of us, as well as our teammate Schwartzman into the pit lane. I think that's going to leave Ilott out in the lead of this Grand Prix, as we do actually luckily get a little bit of DRS from that, but the pace so far has been really consistent. Most of our laps have been around the mid-32s, so we certainly have a decent pace on these mediums, up into 6th place. As I think we're going to see the rest of the AI dived in this lap, and then we'll try and go to lap 11, lap 12, I'm trying to say. But we'll wait and see. Taking into the pit lane, almost understeers into the infamous Hungarian GP pit wall there, but we are now going to inherit the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, so last to first in 8 laps is fast lap of the Grand Prix. Where on earth has that come from? As we head on to lap 8 there, clearly, yeah, these mediums are really feeling nice at the moment. Let's just see if we can continue on and maintain this good rhythm. Oh, we got yellow flags out in Sector 1. Could this be a perfectly timed safety car for us? Could this strat once again have really, really paid off in this championship? Not too sure who is dropping to the wayside in this race. Who is it going to be? It is Jay and Aruvula, but we don't get a safety car by the looks of it. So that's a little bit gutting for us, but I mean, we're still in good pace. We don't desperately need a safety car, but how nice would it have been with an 18-second lead to get a free pit stop and come out right at the front of the field? 10 laps on the softs might have been optimistic, but I'm sure we could have hung on in there. There we go. Top guys are instantly going a whole lot quicker than we were on those mediums, already back down into the 31s, as we've got PK and Ilott, the 2 cars behind us there, Guan Yu Zhou as well, so Virtuosi having a really, really good start to this weekend. It's certainly, I would say, our main threat, championship-wise, but we'll wait and see. Oh, we got more yellow flags out as we head on to lap 11. Again, I wouldn't mind a safety car at this point of the Grand Prix. Who is it going to be? It's going to be another backmarker in this race. Who is it? Are we finally going to get... God, F2 breakdowns really do seem to take their time, don't they? As we head down in through Sector 2. Is it Lundgaard or Armstrong, perhaps? It is Luca Giotto. And we've got the safety car. This is always the gamble with the F2 cars. You take that risk, it pays off on days like today. You take that risk around other tracks, it completely screws you. But this is going to be absolutely perfect for us, or I hope it is anyway, in this Grand Prix. Let's stay close to the Delta still. You know, we don't want to throw away any unnecessary time. It's going to allow us to keep our soft tyres and even better nick. But are we about to pull off a strategy masterclass for the 2nd weekend in a row in this F2 career mode? In towards the pit lane we come. Make sure we get it slowed down nice and tidy. Don't need to take any risks. didn't know the pit line was there. I had no idea the pit lane line was there. What have we done? Please don't. I mean, if we stay out... No, we're not even going to be out in the lead, are we? Oh, no, this has been an absolute disaster. Come on, come on, come on. Quick stop, quick stop, quick stop. 5.8. Get it, find a gear. Come on, go. Oh, this is not good. Where are we going to come out in this Grand Prix? Is it going to be P3? Are we going to be behind Drogovic? Oh, it's going to be... Come on. Oh, it's going to be P5. It might be P6. It is P5. P6. 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 We've rejoined in this Grand Prix, so things not looking as good as I'd once hoped. But hopefully we can still score some points. So 6 laps to go then here from the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it is going to be Pedro Piquet who takes the control of the field here. We've tried to keep our soft tyres in absolutely perfect condition over the course of these safety car laps, but we need a good restart. We need to try and get to the front. Oh god. And then we need to try and romp away as we head out of the final couple of corners. Just how big an advantage will these fresher, quicker soft tyres be over all the medium runners as we head out of the final corner? Obviously we won't have DRS for a couple of laps as we head back down in towards the first corner, up the inside of Giuliano Alesi. A big dive bomb, but we have got the car slowed down on the apex. It was actually quite a nice clean little move in the end through the first corner on young Giuliano. Clearly the F40 money can't help him defend positions that well. Next up, Drogovic. Drogovic incredibly slow out of the final couple of corners here, so we might be able to try and look for something down in towards turn 1. A lot of moving around in the braking zone by the young Brazilian there. Like I said, we need to try and sneak our way up through the field, so we might have to just start getting a little bit more aggressive once more with Felipe Drogovic. Have a look at the inside. Oh, he completely slams the door there. Can we try and get a good run down through turn 3? Oh, again, just Drogovic sat on the apex of the corners here. Up the hill in towards turn 4. Not typically an overtaking's place. And again, Drogovic just positioning his car everywhere he needs to at the moment. There's still a chance for a top 8 in this race. So maybe, just maybe, dive into the chicane. There we go. Up into 4th of this race. And now we can focus on trying to close up to Guan Yu Zhou. 4 laps to go here, and we are now all over the back of Guan Yu Zhou. Again, another big run up in towards turn 4, but again, just nowhere to go on the entry there. We might be able to have a look up the inside into turn 5, really just taking every opportunity we can get at the moment there, as Guan Yu Zhou thinks about coming back at us, can't quite get the traction on the exit of the corner there, so we are now up into the podium places in this race on the road. But we need to try and get to the front and pull away as much of a gap as we can in the final 3 and a bit laps of this race. We've already navigated our way past 1 Uni Virtuosi car off the restart. Let's try and make it 2. A big run on Callum Ilott is what we need. A 1:30.3, only a couple of tenths off my qualifying time at the end of the lap there. Callum Ilott goes defensive, but he just opens the door at the last second. Slam it on the anchors. He's going to try and get the undercut on us. Or the switchback even, I should say, but just so superior traction on these soft tyres. And we're up at a P2, and all we now need to do is get past PK and try and pull away as much time as we can. I think the win might be off the table, unfortunately, in this one, but we'll give it our best shot nonetheless. Hungarian Grand Prix could be an absolute breakout race for Pedro Piquet in his Formula 2 campaign. He's had a couple of unlucky retirements early on this championship from big points-paying positions, and now, well, hopefully he's not going to fight us too hard for this. He should be aware that obviously we've got this penalty, so he still should be looking pretty comfortable there, but we've got a big run at the final corner. PK is going to go a little bit defensive. I think he was thinking about giving us the room on the inside. We, though, have completely overshot turn 1. We'll run very, very wide on the exit. PK, therefore, will hold on to the lead of this race, and that does not help us out one bit. Come on, PK. We've got to try and get past you, buddy. The win's yours, but please give me a chance of some big points as well. No, I don't think he cares. Pedro Piquet, I wonder what is going through that young Brazilian's mind right now. It's been such a good season from the Brazilians so far. Samaya and Drogovic have both already got wins on the board. Can Piquet complete the trifecta for a country that has always provided so much passion and so many iconic drivers to the world of Formula 1 as well? Up the inside, in towards the final sector there. Piquet spots it, does lock up a little bit on the brakes, but we are now finally through him into the lead of this Hungarian Grand Prix with just 1 lap to go. Drugovich there, we can see in 5th place, about 3.6 back. So we could still potentially bag sort of P5, P6 in this race. But this final lap is going to have to be a qualifying style one as we head out of the final corner to start the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. We started this race in 20th. We were down in last at the first turn, but we completely were able to leapfrog so many cars through the strategy and the safety car so many times. Has the safety car completely changed the shape of Formula 2 races, and today is going to be no different. It has, like I said, completely pushed us up the order, where we were planning on trying to slice our way through the traffic anyway, but it just meant we had a lot less cars to look at, and maybe just try and give ourselves the potential of a race victory this weekend. The gap to Drugovich now pretty much at 4 seconds as we head out of Sector 1. Really just trying to be... You've got to be so patient with these cars though. You cannot overdrive them one bit, otherwise they will just really bite you as we take a lot of curb through the chicane there, down in towards Sector 2. Keep it nice and tidy, get the front end slow in, fast out of all these corners there. Drugovich still only about 4 seconds behind us at the moment. That gap really hovering as the tyres starting to go off. You can see how hard we're pushing using all the curbing we possibly can around this Hungaro ring, but in towards the final few corners of this race. It could have been a win had I known where the pit line was, had we just been a little bit more cautious on the way in. But, I mean, if it weren't for the safety car, we would have probably barely got, you know, sort of top 8 in this race if things have gone really well for us. At the final corner, where is it going to be at the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix? I think it's 6th.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Brilliant stuff from Charus today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
Looks like they're on their way out onto the podium now, and what a result this is. And a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Charus team on top here today. And now, let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Mick Schumacher, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
My driver of the day is Mick Schumacher. With this team, Prema Power Team, they made the difference on the race strategy. Fantastic.
On to the teams then. Prema extend their lead at the top of the championship. Another team that will be satisfied with this race is Charus, whose good result moves them further up in the championship. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the F2 feature race here from the Hungaro ring there. And it is Pedro Piquet taking home a historic first race victory there in Formula 2. From second on the grid, he managed to get into the lead at the start, and obviously, without the little issues, battling myself towards the end, yeah, looked very much in control throughout the entirety of that race. That ILOC comes through in P2 ahead of Guan Yu Zhou there, so a double Uni Virtuosi podium at the end of the day. I'm sure they're very, very happy with that there. With Drugovich, fellow Brazilian there, just missing out in 4th place at the end of the day there. We come through for P5 ahead of a Lacey, our teammate Schwartzman, and Nobuharu Matsushita there, rounding out the top 8 there with just Sean Galale and Roy Desani both scoring points at the end there as well. So that is two guys that you don't often see in the top 10 in this series. They're getting points on the board there. Samaya and Sato just miss out as head of Aitken and Christian Lundgaard there, and you can see the rest of your finishers there. Both Giotto and Gian Daruvula not making it to the checkered flag there. And that means championship-wise, the gap at the top opens up to 28 points as Markov failed to score this weekend there. Guan Yu Zhou up in P3 there, still, you know, taking a few points out of us here and there. looking very, very consistent there. Schwartzman should hopefully cross over the 100-point mark in tomorrow's sprint race as well there. Drogovic up into 5th ahead of Marcus Armstrong there. You can see Nikita Mazepin dropped all the way down to 8th place there. Tsunoda still in 9th ahead of Eilert, who gets the jump on Daruvula, Tictum, and Luca Giotto there. And you can see Lundgaard moving past Somaya as well there. Pedro Piquet with that win massively increases his points tally. Takes him just 1 point behind his fellow Brazilian there, up into P16. And then again, Nissany getting his first points on the board. Galeel getting his first points on the board as well. That means it is now just Louis Delatraz in the other Charouz car that is the only man yet to score points in this championship there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well. And we will be back tomorrow ready for the sprint race. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.